So this is the first video we've done in a while. I'm at John and Bura's house in Bornova. This is my room. I got some clothes out there that I gotta take care of. Here's the bed. So, we're going to throw away some insulin today because it's gone bad. It's in my little clean canteen, like insulated, vacuum insulated thing. This is where I keep my insulin so that it stays cold. But it froze when it was in this container. When it was in this container, I put it in a fridge, and the fridge was off, and I turned it on, and I was like, why is this fridge off? And I put my insulin in it, and then, sorry, I'm trying to adjust this strap. Put my insulin in it, and it froze. Not all of it though. Just like I had a bunch of insulin. I had like 6 vials or 7 vials or something, and I put them all in here, and I put this in the fridge. This is usually what I keep in the fridge, unless I use this littler one. This one's actually got my name on it. But this fridge turned out to be a freezer. It wasn't a freezer, but it was a freezer. It wasn't supposed to be a freezer, but it turned out to be a freezer. And all of the insulin in here, not all of it, the insulin on the outer edges of it froze. But the ones in the middle, they were not frozen. So I was like, shit, I guess the insulin in the ones that are frozen, those are definitely gone, but at least some of them didn't freeze. But it turns out that those ones don't work either. So I learned that by using it, and when your insulin isn't working, it's like it's hard to freaking tell, because you're like, oh, why the hell isn't this infusion site working? And then you like change infusion sites, and then you give yourself a bunch of insulin, and then nothing really happens on the new infusion site, and then you're like, what the hell? So you start giving yourself injections because you don't want to pull out the second one in case it is working, and then you've just wasted a site. So anyways, it's a long process to learn that your insulin's kaput. The thing about messed up insulin, I've used both insulin that's like been in a bottom of a backpack that like uncontrolled is kind of just like a leftover, and I happen to not have any other insulin, so I've injected that. And also, I guess I've never done frozen insulin, but the frozen ones I didn't even try, so I don't know about those ones. The ones that were not frozen, but next to the frozen ones, I guess if I kept the container in the fridge for longer, it would have frozen. Those ones don't work either. And so I gave myself, the thing about messed up insulin is that it works, but not very well. And that's the other thing that makes it hard to detect, is that you're like, you think maybe it's just the site, maybe it's just something else, and then it does kind of work, but it's not really working very well, so you're like, okay, so that makes you think that it's not messed up insulin. But eventually you figure out, after you give yourself like a 10 unit shot or 15 unit shot, and you're like, I need to not be high anymore. You figure out, okay, this insulin's busted, and then you have to buy more insulin. But that's another story. I'll talk about that later. But anyways, that's what happened. I'm gonna take all these vials. These are 3 vials. I already like have a photo of 3 other ones that I've done this to. But we're going to indicate that they are busted with this marker. This marker, Sharpie paint marker. It's really good. I use it for a lot of stuff. That's actually how I got this onto this water bottle. Anywho, this is my paint marker. I'm about to indicate that these are busted by like, I don't know. I'd also draw on top. That would make somebody not use it. I don't know. I'm not really worried that somebody's going to find this and use it, but I guess in the off chance it happens, they won't use it. Unless you're in a desperate situation, you can use this. If you are, I'm throwing this away now because I have replacement insulin. But in a desperate situation, busted insulin is better than no insulin. It's true. It still works. You just have to give yourself a ton of insulin. Huge shots. I feel like you can't use the pump with busted insulin because at least me, I'm usually giving myself like the highest dose I'll give myself is like 5.0. Like that's a pretty big dose. So when you have to start giving yourself like 12 units or like you're just pumping it, it's way better to just take a shot and draw that up. It will keep your numbers down. It's really hard to eat with, and also it'll hit you when you take, I don't know, last time, I guess this past time I took 10 units and then I took 15 units like a couple hours later when I was like, okay, this is definitely not working. And I was like 400 and I stayed 400. I was 450, and then 2 hours later, maybe an hour after I gave myself the 10 unit shot, I was 400 from 450 or like 412, not even 400. So I gave myself another shot, and then eventually it hit me and I got low, which is great because I haven't been eating anything, and so I'm like, oh yes, I can finally eat. But then it starts, you go back to sleep after going low, you go low and then you eat, and then you go to sleep, and then when you wake up you're 450 again. So yeah, busted insulin, not a fun thing at all. But what I'm saying is that in a desperate situation, it's better than no insulin. If you're camping or something, just make sure you got needles. But rest in peace.